There's been a lot of conflicting reports regarding whether or not Andy Ruiz is still training with Eddie Reynoso over the past few months, and including some contradictory or conflicting statements from Andy Ruiz himself in this regard. But now Ruiz has come out and said that he's definitely not going to be working with Eddie Reynoso for this Luis Ortiz camp. As you can see, he said, I know Eddie's not going to be in this camp, but in the future, I'm sure he is. He's a really good guy, nice guy, who really helped me out a lot. I appreciate every single trainer that I've had. Goes on to say the main thing is to just train hard, bro. Training hard and being cautious. Throwing my combinations, covering up, making him miss, making him pay. Just a lot of stuff like that. We just got to be smart. If we're going to be aggressive, we got to be smart and pick our shots. And if we're going to be punching around, counter punching and using speed and explosiveness, Luis Ortiz comes forward and I come forward. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of bombs thrown. All right, so those are the words of Andy Ruiz. Now, I don't know how to feel about him not working with Reynoso for this camp because I don't know who the trainer he's working with is. The trainer who he's working with now is. The guy's called Alfredo Osuna. I have to confess, I've never heard of him before. If any of you have got any information on this individual here, Alfredo Osuna, then please enlighten us all in the comments section below. Has he trained any other significant fighters out there, world champions, etc.? Maybe he's a big trainer in whatever part of the world he's from. Is he Mexican or I'm assuming he's Latino? Who else has this guy trained? I did do a search online and it didn't come up with anything other than him working with Andy Ruiz. Maybe I'm using the wrong search engine, I don't know. But you guys let me know in the comments below if you have any information on this guy. Now, it's interesting that Ruiz said that he wants to be aggressive, but he's going to be smart and pick his shots. Because I spoke in a previous video about the fact that under Reynoso, at least in the Chris Arreola fight, Ruiz was leading off a lot more than he typically would. And that led to him actually being countered because Ruiz previously was a guy who really didn't lead off much. He would lead off here and there. He would use his jab to get in close and he would use his feet to put pressure on you, but he would primarily counter or try and beat you to the punch. So he would wait for you to start throwing your shot and then he would beat you to the shot because his hands are really fast. Or wait for you to throw your shot, then counter with a shot. Or counter with combinations, actually. And so what he seems to be describing here is exactly that he's going to go back to being more cautious in terms of his punch output, waiting for you to throw before he throws. That's my interpretation of what he said. And then he talks about if we're going to be punching around. And punching around, I've heard Andy Ruiz use this term before. Or sometimes he says boxing around. And I think what he seems to mean by that is moving around the ring, sticking and moving, which is kind of what he did a little bit in the late rounds against Chris Arreola. He was up on his toes. He was using his jab. He actually switched up tactics in the Chris Arreola fight. I was quite impressed with that because never in my life did I ever think I would see Andy Ruiz up on his toes, popping a jab and outboxing somebody. But we did see that in that Chris Arreola fight. So, yeah, he says that he's, I guess, working on all those things. And with the Luis Ortiz fight, Ortiz likes to come forward and he's pretty sure there's going to be a lot of bombs thrown. Well, Luis Ortiz is not really a pressure fighter. Yeah, he can apply pressure, but he's not your typical come forward, apply loads of pressure, stay low and come up with hooks. And he's not really that kind of guy. So he can apply pressure, but he's not really a pressure fighter, if you know what I mean. When I think of pressure fighter, I think of Joe Frazier. I think of Mike Tyson. I think of David Tua. I even think of Alexander Povetkin. These are pressure fighters. Derek Chisora, pressure fighter. But I don't think of Ortiz as a pressure fighter. He's more like a boxer puncher to me. An aggressive boxer puncher. So, yeah, looking forward to that fight. And very interested to see who this trainer is. A tree is known by its fruits. So if this guy can get Ruiz into the kind of shape he needs to be in, and have him produce an impressive performance against Luis Ortiz, then that'll be definitely a credit to him for being able to do that. You know, we talk about trainers who might not be that well known. Well, you have to start somewhere. And everybody was nobody at some stage. So let's see who this trainer is. Again, if you got any information on him, drop it in the comments below.